All right, so yesterday we looked at this passage. We're just going to look at it again now. And I kind of realized that one of the jobs here is to summarize. We really haven't talked about that very much. We need to talk about summarizing a little bit more. So I'm going to look at that today along with finding theme. So let's just start by reading the passage again. And we know what's happened up to this point. Morning, Christian. You, like everybody else, didn't do this assignment yesterday, Christian, and we're just making a lesson out of it now. I don't know why you didn't do it, but sadly, it's getting to be fairly normal, kids not doing their work. But all right, so we know what's going on in this story with Kai and Max. They had the basketball contest. Kai lost. He had to write a love letter to Claire. He got busted. He was really embarrassed. And then on the way home, Mom saw a lady with a flat tire and stopped to help, even though Kai didn't want to stop and help her because he just wanted to go home because he was so embarrassed. But then afterwards, Kai was really glad they did stop and help because the lady needed a lot of help. And now we found out at the end of that last passage that Claire, the girl he gave the love letter to, called and invited him to her birthday party. Well, that's what she's going to do right now. Going to invite him to a birthday party. So let's see what happens here. Hearing Claire's voice on the other end of the phone sent a shiver down Kai's spine. So that note was nice and stuff, and I've always thought you were pretty nice, and I was just wondering if you wanted to come to my birthday party tomorrow night. We're going to the skating rink from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, said Claire. I think I can, stammered Kai. Our science projects are due in a couple of days, and I haven't really started yet, but I can try to get it done tonight, he replied, with a tinge of nervousness in his voice. Okay, well, maybe you can talk to your mom about it and let me know at school tomorrow, she replied. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah, so I guess I'll ask my mom and stuff, he mumbled. Sounds good. See you tomorrow, she said. Kai hung up the phone and took a deep breath. Maybe it wasn't such a bad day after all. Mom, can you take me to a birthday party tomorrow night? Asked Kai. Well, that sounds fun. As long as you get your chores and homework done, it's fine with me, she replied. And hey, what happened at school today, buddy? Oh, it was nothing really. I just got caught passing a note and it was kind of embarrassing, but it's okay, he replied. He gathered his science materials and sat down to work on his project, hoping he could finish it so that he could enjoy Claire's birthday party. The more he thought about that party, though, the more he knew he would have a blast. Brent, Juan, and Michael would be there, and he knew that if he felt too shy to hang out with Claire, he could skate with the boys, and that would be awesome. Minutes passed while Kyle pictured himself skating around the rink with Claire at her birthday party. This actually happening? He felt nervous, excited, and unfortunately, very distracted. Minutes turned into many minutes while he sat staring at the blank packet of pages he must complete. By the time he scribbled a few notes on the first page, it was time for dinner. But man, that party was going to be so fabulous. The cutest girl in 5th grade invited him to her birthday party. Claire Crawford invited Kai Masterson to her party. She invited him, and nothing else could really matter that much, right? Kai got so engrossed thinking about Claire's party that he hardly even remembered he had a project due. He couldn't wait. The party ended up being just as awesome as he had anticipated. Actually, no, it was even better than he thought it could have been. He met some new people, skated with his friends, and even talked to Claire Masterson. The next morning at school, Mr. Frank called for science. Kai, do you have your project? Mr. Frank asked. No, not really. I'll bring it tomorrow, he replied. Late projects can only earn half credit, Mr. Frank reminded him. Even though he had fun at Claire's party, he knew he should have stayed home to get it done and wondered how he was going to explain this to his parents. As long as they still allowed him to try out for Skyline's basketball team, he'd do anything to get it finished. Unfortunately, when his parents found out that he didn't finish his project, they told him that he would have to forego the tryouts. He knew this wasn't over, though. He'd do anything to try out for that team. All right, so we're going to summarize this. Now, I want you to think when you're summarizing, we're just putting down just the facts, just the things that happened. All right. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Guys, get a piece of paper ready. Just any old piece of paper will do. And what I want you to do on your paper is just, you could just make a box. Just make a box like, all right.
Can it be put on in a reading notebook?
Yeah, in your notebook. That's probably the smartest thing. Just use your notebook because it's full of paper. Now, I just want you to think just the facts. Now, Claire calls on the phone, right? And he's all nervous. It said to put a shiver down Kai's spine. And she told him it was a nice note. She thinks he's nice. So I was just wondering if you wanted to come to my birthday party tomorrow night. We're going skating. And it talks about how Kai stammers. Stammers means he's like, I think I can. You know, his voice is all shaky because he's nervous. So if someone was to ask you just very simply, let's say you could only say one sentence to describe this, what would you say right now? What's the first thing that happened? The first important detail you would want to share? What would you say, Daniel, in this part of the story? What's the first important detail you would give?
That Kai wanted to, she wanted to do like a party.
Claire called him and invited him to her birthday party, right?
Yeah.
We can all agree that happened, right? Now, do we need all this stuff about his voice is stammering and he's all nervous and he feels his shiver down his spine? Do we need all that?
Mm-mm.
No. Can anyone think of any other important detail? Alexa, what do you think? What else might we include here? What's another important detail you'd probably want to include if you're explaining the story to somebody, if you were summarizing? What do you think, Alexa?
That Claire invited Kai to her birthday.
Right. Okay, so okay. Claire invited Kai to her birthday party. Step one, make yourself another box. Now, again, notice that we didn't talk about how he felt a shiver down his spine, his voice was stammering and all that stuff. We just, bottom line, Claire invited Kai to her birthday party. Then, what's the other important thing? Let's go back to the story. I think I can, stammer Kai. Our science projects are due in a couple of days, and I haven't really started yet, but I can try to get it done tonight. He replied with a tinge of nervousness in his voice. So what's another important detail here, Alexa?
That he had to do his project.
So we could say, Kai had a science project that needed to get done. That'd be the next important detail. See, these are just kind of like steps, like stepping stones across the pond or something. So let's go back to the story. Now, he asks his mom, you know, can we go? And she says, yeah, that sounds great as long as you get your work done. And then he sits down to get to work. Look at all this stuff. He gathered his materials, sat down to work, hoping he could get it done so he could enjoy the party. But then he kept thinking, the more he thought about the party, the more he knew he would have a blast. All the guys would be there. If he was too shy to hang out with her, he could skate with the guys. Minutes passed while Kai pictured himself skating around the rink with Claire at her birthday party. Was this actually happening? He felt nervous, excited, and unfortunately very distracted. Minutes turned into many minutes while he sat staring at the blank packet. By the time he scribbled a few notes on the page, it was time for dinner, but man, that party was going to be so fabulous. The cutest girl in 5th grade invited him to her birthday party. Claire Crawford invited Kai Masterson to her party. She invited him. So what's going on here? Let's ask Sebastian. At this part of the story, what's going on? What do you say is happening right now at this part of the story? Sebastian?
That he's nervous.
Okay, but let's just look at the steps. She invited him to a party. He had a project that he needed to get done. But what's going on here? When he sits down to do his project, what's he do? What happens?
He is daydreaming.
Yeah, is he getting the work done?
No.
No, he's too distracted by the party. So we could say, Kai gets nothing done, right?
Yeah.
Because he's too distracted by the party. They use that word. Where is the word? He was so, he got so engrossed. When you're engrossed in something, you're just so caught up in thinking about it that nothing else really matters to you. Last night I became engrossed in watching funny fail videos on YouTube, and so I didn't get much else done last night. I got so engrossed in it, I wasn't thinking about anything else. So Kai's getting nothing done because he's too distracted thinking about the party. He's too engrossed in thinking about the party. Okay. Next box. Let's go back. So even though, let's see, the party ended up being just as awesome as he had planned. You know, so he skated, he talked to Claire. So what would you say is the next thing you could say happened? Let's ask Donald, what would be the next step in this summary? What's the next detail? So we got that he got invited to the party. He knew he had a science project that needed to get done. He gets nothing done because he's too distracted thinking about the party. Then what, Donald? What would you say is the next thing that happens?
He gets called by the teacher.
Okay, I agree, Donald. That's going to go in here. That's very important. But can anyone think of maybe something that happens just before that? Tell you what. Let's put that here, Donald. The teacher asks for projects, right? That's what you're saying when he got called by the teacher. Is that what you mean, Donald?
Yeah.
But Donald's is not, not Donald, but Kai's isn't done, right?
Yeah.
We also find out he'll only get half credit, and that's really bad. He's going to get a bad grade on this. Even if he does a great job, he's going to get a bad grade because it's late. So what could we say happened just before that, Adeline? What could we say? Just before the teacher asked for projects and he didn't have his done. Why am I writing so bad? I'm sorry, people. What would you say, Adeline, would be the between getting nothing done on the project and then going to school in a couple days with his project not done? What's in between there, Adeline? What would you say?
He can't try out for the basketball team.
Well, isn't that how it ends up here at the end? Wouldn't that be, that'd be after this, right? That would come next, which again, Adeline, that is important, right? That is definitely, let's put that here. His parents won't let him try out for the basketball team, right? As punishment for not getting his work done. So we agree. His parents will let him try out because he didn't get his work done. But there's still something here. Can someone volunteer? What needs to go here? Just before he didn't get the work done. You know, he shows up with his project not done at school.
I know.
What do you think, Daniel?
Like I think she didn't want to do her work because of the party, so she went to the party instead of doing her projects.
It's a dude. Kai's a boy. I'd say that's part of it. He was at the party, right? That's the point. I'd say this step is where he goes to the party, right?
Yeah.
I'd say Kai has a great time at the party. Kai has a great time at the party. All right. So now this makes a complete summary here. Let's take a look at this. Claire invited Kai to her birthday party. Kai had a science project that needed to get done. Kai gets nothing done because he's too distracted thinking about the party. Kai has a great time at the party. The teacher asks for the projects, but Kai's isn't done. He'll get half credit, and then his parents won't let him try it for the basketball team. It's a punishment, right?
Yeah, she didn't finish his project.
Right. So this is a sign. Now notice how we didn't include any of the stuff about, you know, he's so nervous, he's so excited, it's going to be great. You know, he's going to be with Claire at her party. She invited him to her party. Claire Crawford, the most popular, cute, such the cutest girl in 5th grade. Well, we left all that out, right? When you're doing a summary, all you need is just the real basics, right? Just the real basics.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we want to talk about here. When we write this summary out now, it says write a brief summary, which means it's not going to be very long.
Mm.
And let's think about how we could scrunch this down into sentences. So Claire invites Kai to her birthday party. He has a project to get done. But doesn't do it. Why doesn't he do it? Alexa, why doesn't he do the project? Why doesn't he do his project, Alexa?
Because he went to Claire's party.
Well, first he's so excited about the party, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't, when he sits down to do his project, he doesn't think about his project. He thinks about how excited he is about the party.
She's like daydreaming.
Yep. So he goes to the party without getting his work done, right?
Yeah.
And then when his parents find out, he'll only get half credit. For turning it in late. They tell him he can't do he can't try basketball. Tell him no basketball tryout. Now, notice how I ran out of room, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I wrote too much. Let's see if we can make it shorter. Claire invites Kai to her birthday party. He has a project to get done, but doesn't do it because he's so excited about the party. He goes to the party without getting his work done. How about this? How can we shorten it? Kai goes to Claire's birthday party without getting his work done. Yep, hold on. Kai goes to Claire's birthday without getting his work done. Agreed? That happens, right?
Yeah.
I left out the part that he was so excited thinking about the party that he didn't get to work. Bottom line, he goes to the party without getting work done. And then he gets punished by his parents
Because he didn't get work.
for not getting the work done. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pretty much, and now, we put all these events here, but we just take the events. We said they wouldn't let him go to the basketball tryouts. Well, bottom line, he's being punished, right? So he got consequences. He got punished for not getting his work done. And then we said here that he knew he had a project to do. He didn't get anything done because he's so excited thinking about the party that he doesn't do any work. Well, bottom line, we could just say he went to the party without getting his work done. It's just that simple, right? So when you summarize, just try to think, what do the people need to know? What do they need to know to get a summary? Think about what details do you need to leave out and what do you really need to include? The bottom line is here, Kai gets punished for going to a party without getting his work done. All right, that's the bottom line. So that's how a good summary works out, okay?
Yeah.
Now, what is one possible theme? Now, okay, here's a problem we have. I don't know if everybody's doing this. I know at least some people are. You go over here. Hang on. Let me get out of this. I don't want to refresh it. We go over here in the inbox, and I think people are trying to pick out one of these themes here. Just one of these. And this unit really hasn't, I think hasn't really set this up right, okay? Because there isn't just one word that sums it up. I mean, you might say responsibility. I mean, a story that includes characters who are reliable and follow through with their commitments despite desires to do other things at times. Well, I mean, Kai was not, he was the opposite of that, right? So we could say that, you know, that's why he got the consequences. But really, look what it says. What is one possible theme? Let me go back to the pic. What is one possible theme written as a sentence for this passage? Now, remember how I talked about before, a theme can be a lesson, right? A theme can
Yeah.
be a lesson. That's what these are. If you've noticed in all of these stories about Max and Kai, all the themes have been lessons. And it's not one of these ones that you can just choose from right here. This one requires you to make an inference and think up one yourself. Now think back to the summary. What happened in the story? He goes to a birthday party and doesn't get his work done. And because of that, he gets punished, right? So bottom line, what's the possible theme? I would say if you don't take care of your responsibilities, but his responsibility is his schoolwork, right? If you don't take care of your responsibilities, there could be consequences, right? There could be consequences. That's the bottom line here. This is the theme here. If you don't take care of your responsibilities, there could be consequences. And so I do have that idea of responsibilities in there. So you can look on here for one, but just remember you're going to have to work it into some sort of a sentence or a statement and like a lesson on these stories. It's not always like that. Like when we read Shiloh and talk about theme, it won't necessarily be that way. But for these Max and Kai stories, it is like that. Okay? So then it asks, what evidence from the birthday party supports this theme? Well, think back to the summary. What happened in our summary? What happened that supports that theme? Christian? You can't hear. Joseph, what happens in the story that supports this theme? If you don't take care of responsibilities, there could be consequences. What happened, Joseph, that's in the story to support that theme?
Those cups, you want that again.
Okay. So the information in the story, right?
Right. So what happens in the story to support this theme right here? If you don't take care of responsibilities, there could be consequences. What happened in the story that supports that theme? Remember?
I don't remember that much, like in seconds. I can forget seconds.
Who can help Joseph out? Who has some information that can help? Allie, what do you think? Help out? What happens in the story to support this theme?
So
Miss Hallie, you there?
Yeah, it just keeps disconnecting.
So what happens in the story, Hallie, that supports this theme? If you don't take care of your responsibilities, there could be consequences. What would you say? What events in the story support the theme?
Kai was supposed to do his homework, but he got distracted, and because of that, he couldn't do basketball tryouts, and he was only going to get half credit.
All right,
on
good.
homework.
I'm going to take what you're saying, Hallie, and kind of shorten it up a little bit, okay? So I'll say Kyle didn't get,
It's Kai, not Kyle.
sorry, Kai didn't get his science project done. His parents punished him by not letting him go to basketball tryouts. That's the bottom line, right? That's what happened to support this theme. He didn't take care of his responsibilities, didn't do a science project. There was consequences. He got punished by not being allowed to go to basketball tryouts, right? And then, of course, the last part, how can you apply this to your own life?
That's easy.
Now, you know, if I could say this, I might say, like, if I don't take care of things like my bills, there could be consequences like losing my electricity, or getting kicked out of my apartment. Now that's for me, right? That's how it applies to my life. For you guys, the way to apply your life, it wouldn't be the same. You know, yours might be, well, if I don't take out the trash when I'm told, I could get grounded, or, you know, if I get caught doing things on the computer I shouldn't be doing, I could get my computer taken away. It's, you know, the idea is, how does this theme here apply to your life? All right. And I don't want you to think about things that have actually happened to you. All right. I want you to think what could happen in your life. Okay. So that's what we're doing here. Hopefully this lesson clears up what you're supposed to be doing a little bit better. Let's look in the activities. I put up another assignment. Look, we got the next Max and Kai story. It's called basketball practice right here. All right. And
Wait, is that the one after the like when he got grounded?
this is the next one. We just went through theme passage number 4. Now this is number 5, basketball practice. So remember, he got punished by saying he's not allowed to go to basketball tryouts, but and remember at the end of it said he'd do anything to try out for that team. He knew this wasn't over. So I think he's still going to try to get on the team. So that's your assignment here to work on. And I expect you to be working on it right now. So listen up, what I'm going to do. Hang on. I'm going to end the meeting right now so that I can try to post this video on Seesaw for Kamari to see it. You guys can take a 5-minute break. And we'll start reading groups in like 5 minutes, okay? So I'm ending the meeting right now, but be ready to come back in like 5 minutes, all right? So go ahead and start on this. We'll take a break if you need to for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll start reading groups in like 5 minutes. So it's 9:57. Let's go ahead and come back at 10:05. So an 8-minute break. So we'll start up at 10:05.